The package was heavier than it should have been, and when Linda Martinez lifted it from the sorting bin, she heard the faint electronic beeping that made her blood run cold. 23 years after retiring from explosive ordnance disposal, she was staring at a live bomb in the middle of a busy post office, with 47 people inside and no time to evacuate. Welcome to Daily Story. Before we begin this incredible tale of hidden expertise and life or death decisions, tell us in the comments what city you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, hit that subscribe button to join our community. The Riverside Post Office occupied a converted bank building on Main Street, its high ceilings and marble floors giving it an air of official importance that most government buildings in small towns lacked. Built in 1923, it had served the community of Riverside, Montana, for over a century, processing everything from love letters to social security checks with the same methodical efficiency. Linda Martinez had worked there for 5 years, ever since moving to Riverside from Colorado Springs. At 51, she had the patient demeanor and attention to detail that made her perfect for postal work, sorting mail, helping customers, and ensuring that packages reached their destinations safely and on time. Her co-workers knew her as a reliable, quiet woman who never called in sick, always volunteered for overtime during holiday seasons, and kept a thermos of coffee that somehow stayed hot all day. She lived alone in a small house 3 blocks from work, tended a garden that won prizes at the county fair, and seemed to have found the kind of peaceful routine that many people spent their entire lives seeking. What Linda's co-workers didn't know, what the customers who chatted with her about local weather didn't suspect, was that Staff Sergeant Linda Martinez, United States Army, had spent 15 years as an explosive ordnance disposal specialist. She had defused bombs in Iraq, Afghanistan, and half a dozen other countries where American forces operated under classifications that didn't appear in newspapers. For 15 years, her steady hands and methodical thinking had meant the difference between life and death for thousands of soldiers. She had approached improvised explosive devices with the calm focus of someone who understood that panic was more dangerous than any bomb, and she had disarmed over 400 explosive devices without losing a single life under her protection. The transition to civilian life had been gradual and deliberate. After multiple deployments and years of living with the constant stress of knowing that one wrong decision could kill dozens of people, Linda had requested a transfer to a training position at Fort Carson. She had spent 3 years teaching the next generation of EOD specialists before retiring with full honors and a chest full of medals she never displayed. Moving to Riverside had been about finding peace. The small town offered the kind of quiet routine that felt like healing after years of controlled chaos. Working at the post office gave her a sense of purpose, helping people connect through letters and packages. Without the life-and-death pressure that had defined her military career, Linda had carefully built a civilian identity that had nothing to do with explosives or combat zones. She volunteered at the local animal shelter, helped with the church food drive, and had even started dating Tom Morrison, a widowed rancher who made her laugh and never asked too many questions about her past. The morning of September 12th started like any other. Linda arrived at 7:30 a.m., 30 minutes before the post office opened, to process the overnight delivery and sort the mail that would be distributed throughout Riverside. She unlocked the building, disabled the alarm system, and began her daily routine of organizing packages and letters into efficient delivery routes. The overnight delivery contained the usual mix of packages: Amazon orders, family shipments, business documents that couldn't wait for regular mail. Linda worked through the stack methodically, checking addresses, weighing packages, and noting any special delivery instructions. She was halfway through the overnight bin when she picked up package 47B. The first thing she noticed was the weight. According to the shipping label, it contained electronic components and weighed 4 pounds. But when Linda lifted it, the distribution of weight felt wrong, not like circuit boards or computer parts, but like something dense and carefully packed. The second thing she noticed was the sound, a faint electronic beeping, barely audible but unmistakable to someone who had spent 15 years listening for the sounds that meant death was counting down. Linda's training took over before her conscious mind fully processed what she was hearing. She set the package down with extreme care and immediately began clearing her mental space for threat assessment. Beeping interval, approximately every 2 seconds. Pattern, consistent, suggesting a timer rather than a proximity sensor. Package construction, professional shipping, no obvious external modifications. Weight distribution, consistent with explosive materials surrounded by fragmentation elements. Linda looked around the post office. In 30 minutes, the building would open to the public. Margaret Sullivan would arrive to work the customer service counter. Jerry Roberts would begin his delivery route. By 9 a.m., there would be at least 20 staff members and customers in the building. She had 2 choices: evacuate immediately and call the bomb squad from the state police, or handle the situation herself. The nearest bomb disposal unit was in Billings, 2 hours away. Even if they left immediately, the device would have time to detonate dozens of times over. Linda made a decision that went against every protocol she had ever learned. She was going to disarm the bomb herself. She moved to the front door and flipped the sign to closed, then locked the entrance and activated the building's emergency notification system. Her hands were steady as she made the first of several phone calls she hoped she would never have to make. Riverside Police. This is Officer Thompson. This is Linda Martinez at the post office. I have a confirmed explosive device in the building. I need you to establish a perimeter at least 200 yards from the building and prevent anyone from entering the area. Did you say explosive device? Are you sure? I'm sure. I'm our former military EOD. The device is active, and I'm going to attempt disarmament. Estimated blast radius if I'm unsuccessful is approximately 150 yards, so keep everyone back. There was a pause before Officer Thompson responded. Linda, are you saying you're going to try to defuse a bomb? That's exactly what I'm saying. I need you to trust me and keep people away from this building. Call the state police and tell them we have a confirmed IED, but don't wait for their bomb squad. If this goes wrong, it's going to go wrong in the next few minutes. Linda ended the call and immediately dialed Tom Morrison's number. Linda? It's early for you to be calling. Tom, I need you to listen carefully. I'm at the post office, and there's a situation. I need you to stay at your ranch and keep anyone from coming into town until you hear from me or the police. What kind of situation? Linda looked at the package, which continued its steady electronic countdown. The kind I used to handle in the Army. I'll explain later if I can. She ended the call before Tom could ask more questions, then moved to her desk and pulled out a set of tools she kept in a locked drawer: precision screwdrivers, wire cutters, and a small flashlight that most people would assume were for minor equipment repairs. In reality, they were the basic tools of bomb disposal, items she had maintained in perfect condition for 23 years despite hoping never to use them again. Linda approached the package with a methodical calm that had kept her alive through 400 previous encounters with explosive devices. She photographed it from multiple angles with her phone, documenting the condition and construction in case she didn't survive to provide a debrief. Using her flashlight and magnifying glass, she examined the package for external indicators of the trigger mechanism. The beeping suggested a timer, but there could be additional sensors, motion detectors, pressure plates, or anti-tampering devices that would detonate the bomb if she attempted to open it incorrectly. After 10 minutes of careful examination, Linda was confident she understood the basic construction. The device appeared to be a relatively sophisticated pipe bomb with a digital timer and what looked like a cellular phone trigger as a backup detonation method. The construction suggested military or professional training, not the work of an amateur. She had two options for disarmament: attempt to access the timer and interrupt the countdown, or cut the power source and render the device inert. Both approaches carried significant risks, but Linda's experience told her that cutting power was usually the safer choice with timer-based devices. Using her smallest screwdriver, Linda carefully removed the shipping label and examined the package seams. The bomber had used a sophisticated sealing method that would prevent casual tampering, but could be defeated with the right tools and technique. Working with the precision of a surgeon, Linda opened a small access point that allowed her to see the internal construction without triggering anti-tampering measures. Inside, she could see the timer, a digital display showing 3 minutes and 47 seconds, connected to approximately 2 pounds of plastic explosive surrounded by metal fragments designed to maximize casualties. The power source was a 9-volt battery connected to the timer through a simple circuit. Linda traced the wiring with her flashlight, identifying the primary power connection and checking for backup systems or booby traps that would detonate the device if the main power was interrupted. After confirming that there were no secondary triggers, Linda positioned her wire cutters on the primary power connection. This was the moment of maximum risk. If she had missed a backup system or misidentified the circuit, cutting the wire would detonate the bomb immediately. With the same steady hands that had disarmed hundreds of explosive devices in combat zones around the world, Linda cut the power connection. The beeping stopped. The timer display went dark. The bomb was inert. Linda sat back on her heels and allowed herself 30 seconds to process what had just happened. She had successfully disarmed a sophisticated explosive device in a civilian setting, something she had trained for but hoped never to experience. Then she made her second series of phone calls. Officer Thompson, this is Linda Martinez. The device has been successfully disarmed. You can reduce the perimeter, but I need the state police bomb squad here immediately to properly dispose of the explosive material. Linda, are you saying you defused a bomb? That's exactly what I'm saying. And we need to treat this as an active investigation, because whoever sent this package knew what they were doing. 2 hours later, the Riverside post office was crawling with state police, FBI agents, and bomb disposal specialists who treated Linda with the kind of professional respect reserved for fellow experts. The device was carefully packaged and removed for analysis, while investigators began the process of tracing its origin and identifying the bomber. Special Agent Rebecca Chen from the FBI's Domestic Terrorism Unit interviewed Linda in the post office break room, taking notes as Linda provided a detailed technical analysis of the device's construction and her disarmament procedure. Ms. Martinez, your military record shows extensive EOD experience, but you've been retired for over 20 years. How confident were you in your ability to handle this situation? Linda sipped coffee from her thermos, noting that her hands were finally starting to shake slightly from delayed stress response. Agent Chen, some skills don't fade. Bomb disposal is like riding a bicycle. Except if you fall off, everyone dies. Do you have any idea why someone would target the Riverside post office specifically? No direct threats that I'm aware of. But the device was sophisticated enough to suggest this wasn't random. Someone with significant technical knowledge and resources wanted to cause maximum casualties in a small town setting. Agent Chen reviewed her notes. The package was addressed to current resident at an address that doesn't exist in Riverside. It appears the bomber intended for it to be returned to the post office, where it would detonate during regular business hours. Linda understood the implications immediately. They wanted to kill postal workers and customers, not target a specific individual. This was domestic terrorism designed to create fear and casualties. That's our assessment as well. And without your intervention, they would have succeeded. 3 weeks later, the FBI arrested Marcus Webb, a former military explosives expert who had been targeting post offices across the Mountain West as part of an anti-government campaign. The device Linda had disarmed was the 7th he had mailed to small-town post offices, but it was the first to be intercepted before detonation. Linda's actions had not only saved dozens of lives in Riverside, but had also provided crucial evidence that led to Webb's capture and the prevention of additional attacks. She was quietly awarded a civilian commendation for bravery, though the details of her actions remained classified to protect the ongoing investigation. Life in Riverside gradually returned to normal, but Linda found that her carefully constructed civilian identity had been permanently altered. Her co-workers now knew she was someone who could remain calm under impossible pressure. The customers she served understood that the quiet woman sorting their mail possessed skills that had saved their lives. Tom Morrison proposed to her 6 months later, in the garden behind her house where she grew prize-winning tomatoes with the same methodical precision she brought to everything else. "I've been thinking," he said as they sat on her back porch watching the sunset. "I don't need to know everything about your past, but I want to know everything about your future." Linda accepted his proposal with the same steady certainty she had brought to disarming the bomb. Some decisions, she had learned, were too important to second-guess. A year later, Linda Martinez Morrison was still working at the Riverside Post Office, but now she also served as a consultant for the FBI's Domestic Terrorism Unit, helping to identify suspicious packages and train postal workers in threat recognition. She had found a way to use her specialized skills to protect people without returning to the high-stress environment of active military service. The post office installed new security measures and threat detection equipment, but Linda remained the most effective early warning system they had. Her experience and instincts could identify potential threats that electronic systems might miss. She continued to sort mail with methodical precision, help customers with patience and professionalism, and maintain the kind of peaceful routine that had drawn her to Riverside in the first place. But now that routine included the knowledge that she was exactly where she needed to be, protecting her community in ways that most people would never understand. Sometimes the most dangerous situations are diffused by the people you least expect. Sometimes the person handling your mail with gentle care is the same person who spent 15 years ensuring that bombs didn't kill soldiers in foreign countries. Linda Martinez had learned that retirement doesn't mean abandoning your skills. It means finding new ways to use them to protect the people who matter most. So now I ask you, have you ever known someone whose calm competence in everyday situations suggested they had experience with much more demanding challenges? Someone who handled stress and pressure with a steadiness that seemed to come from deeper training? Share their story in the comments below. Tell us about the hidden experts in your life, the ones who bring specialized skills to ordinary jobs and make everyone around them safer. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you that protection often comes from the most unexpected places, hit that subscribe button and join the Daily Story community. We are here to honor the technical experts, the quiet professionals, the people who keep us safe in ways we rarely see or understand. Thank you for watching, and remember, the next time someone handles your mail, your packages, or any task requiring precision and care, look a little closer. You might be meeting someone who has dedicated their life to keeping others safe, one careful action at a time.